trouble.
Yeah, probably. Alrighty. Da, da, da. So did you watch the new trailer?
Yes, I did. I've only watched it once, so there was some stuff that I missed. Like I didn't really catch the whole it looks like the lightsaber has a hand guard kind of thing or
right,
whatever.
Yeah, a hilt guard, exactly.
Yeah. So, which of course I know bugs the crap out of a ton of people, and to me, I'm just like,
what?
well, it's
okay,
something else different.
Look, up until the Phantom Menace, I had no idea that lightsabers could be dual bladed.
Right. And let's face it, that was at least in the top 3 coolest things about all 3 of those movies was the dual-bladed lightsaber.
I agree. So for all these people having issues with it, it's like, you guys are expecting a little bit too much, I think. And apparently, if you go back to, what they call canon, if you go back to the Star Wars lore, that type of lightsaber does exist somewhere within the lore. So it's not that it's impossible. It just we
hadn't seen it before.
Saw it before. Right. But again, like I said, I had never seen a dual-bladed lightsaber before.
Absolutely.
So I was thrilled with the trailer. I thought, oh my. Hopefully they're not showing the best parts of the film.
It feels like a Star Wars trailer.
Oh yeah. Very much so. Very much so.
That made me happy.
Yeah, I was very pleased with everything that I saw. And I guess we shouldn't call it a trailer, it's a teaser. Because a trailer reveals more of the plot line. A teaser just whets your appetite.
It says, here's cool stuff that you're going to see.
Yeah. Yeah. So, right. Kirk says, or the spinning one in Star Wars Rebels. Yeah. I mean, Jedi are capable of building whatever lightsabers they want. Right. So they can do pretty much whatever they want with them. It's just a matter of them taking the time to do it.
Yeah.
So, all right. I am going to relaunch Chrome because it's showing me ads, and I don't want to see ads. So for some reason, my ad block isn't working.
That's no good.
Nope, not good.
Matter of fact, well, never mind. I'm not going to.
What?
Nothing.
What?
I was going to do something, but I don't think it would work. And if it didn't work, then I just feel stupid.
Okay. All right, so we've got plenty to talk about today, I think.
Yeah, we do.
I do believe.
Oh, by the way, also, in addition to clips for Noise Trade, I also have a clip from the new Toby Mac song and a clip from the Modern Post Christmas record.
Modern Post?
That's Dustin Kinzeroo's.
Oh. Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
So just giving you a heads up on that, so that way I'm not at the end of the show being like,
right. Well, you'll probably still have to do that at the end of the show because the odds of me remembering that's what's going on is pretty slim.
Right. Did you notice that when Solid State service? Oh, you probably didn't because you never look at MPE, but they service Midnight Clear, that Solid State Christmas album.
Yeah,
Not
7
all
out
the
of the
songs
10
are on there.
Yeah. No, I asked Tim about that the other day. I was like, dude, what the heck? How many are? The text I sent to Tim was, how many are supposed to be on this Midnight Clear album? And he said, 10 songs, but they only serviced us 7 through Play MPE. What's up with that?
Well, the stuff that they didn't service is wicked heavy.
But why would they not have serviced that?
Because they don't think that anyone will play them.
We need the whole album for our Christmas special.
Oh, you guys. Oh, I see what you're saying.
What we're doing is we've got a portion of interviews lined up for this Monday, and Tim's trying to line up the rest for, I think, the following Monday. And then Christmas Eve night at 7, we're going to do a special edition of The Broken Record. And so we're going to have interviews with each of the bands, if possible, that are on that album, and just talk about Christmas memories with them and that kind of stuff, and then play their song.
Nice.
So we did it with the Slow Speak Christmas thing, except we did all the recording and editing the day we were going to air it. And
time crunch.
I said to Tim, I don't ever want to go through that again. It's like, I can't handle all this stress. Because we got the interviews done so quick. They like lined up one after the other so fast that I didn't have time to edit until like towards the end. And then, of course, we still had to build up the show, layer everything in the proper order. And I had to make sure I had the right bands with the right song and all of this kind of stuff. So it was a pain in the tuchus.
In the tuchus, you say?
In the tuchus, that's right.
In the tuchus.
Yes, where I make logs, you know.
Well, at least it wasn't another word that begins with L-O, so that's good.
I don't see how that's a party.
So, yeah.
That's
Tom,
unfortunate.
That's... Tom, that's why we... Oh, do you have the rest of it, Tom? Tom's like, I was wondering why you only gave me 7 tracks. He didn't get it in his Play MPE. They probably didn't release it to Canada. You probably have it illegally. Illegal.
That's right, because Canada doesn't deserve it.
Ooh.
They heard about you, Tom.
You're
the entire reason.
Shots fired. Take cover.
They're like, oh, that Tom Labonte guy is Canadian. I knew there was a reason, but now we know what it is. Canada, you do not get midnight clear.
Yeah. So, Tom, if you wouldn't mind, like, dropping those extra tracks into the Dropbox for me, maybe, please? Pretty please? I bat my eyes at you. Maybe? All right. We should probably get rolling.
That'd probably be a good idea.
So in honor of the
document
trailer, I'm wearing my Star Wars shirt.
Oh, speaking of shirts, guess what I got in the mail?
I have no idea.
I paid for it, but not very much, considering I ended up with 2. I didn't realize this, but I ended up with 2 vintage Steve Taylor shirts. Neither one will fit me.
Right.
But I knew that. I'm going to frame them. One of them is from like 1987.
Nice.
And the other one is from the Swinter National Tour, which is the one I got to see him on. And both of them are in great shape. The newer one has one small, like, hole about the size of a pencil lead.
Wow.
In it, but I'm like, that doesn't matter. It's like, I'm going to put it in a frame anyway.
So did you buy them on, like, eBay or something?
No, the Christian Rock, the 90s Christian Music Recovery Group.
Oh, cool.
I bought a CD off of that too, but I'm still waiting for it to show up. So I'm about to harass him a little bit because he's had way more than enough time for that. Because I ordered the shirt and like 2 days later it arrived, and the CD has been about 2 weeks. So
yeah,
you're like, dude,
give me my music. Right. Give me my music. Come on.
I want it. I want it now.
Okay.
I want your music. That's what I want.
Are we ready?
Yes, I do believe so. I think we are in good shape. I already did the sound check, and my doll's already up. All I got to do is turn off my little fan here so I don't get fan noise. And now it's all quiet. All right.
Fan noise. You're still not in the chat room.
Yes, I am.
Well, you're not showing up.
Oh, well, that sounds like...
Shows Tom and Kirk and me, but that's it.
Maybe I need to refresh because it's not showing the chat for me. I logged in.
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate you dropping that in for me, bud.
Okay, I'm here now.
Okay, good.
It made me load.
Good. All right. So I guess let's get ready. There it is. Okay. So let's get ready to hit record in 3, 2, 1. This episode of the Rock and a Hard Place podcast brought to you by Tweaked Audio at tweakedaudio.com. Use the code HARDPLACE when purchasing anything, and you'll get 33% off of your purchase. That's tweakedaudio.com. Okay, I'm going to start that music again. I didn't have my iPad turned up. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Rock in a Hard Place podcast. My name is Chris Cooner. I am a DJ with Broken FM. You can check us out online at broken.fm. Joining me, as I can't say as always, because there have been times where I've done this without him, but most of the time, I do this show with my good friend Paul Gibson. How's it going, man?
It's going good. How was Thanksgiving for you, my friend?
Thanksgiving was excellent. I came home from work on Wednesday, and I went straight to making my turkey brine.
Okay.
Got the turkey brine all set up in the cooler. Pulled out the turkey, unwrapped it, rinsed it off, coated it. I rinsed it off, and then I stuck it in the brine. And it sat in the brine until, this was about 3 in the afternoon. It sat in the brine until about 7 a.m. the next morning.
Right.
Pulled it out of the brine, coated it with olive oil, added a little bit of salt to the top just to give it a little crustiness, and took it out and stuck it in my barrel smoker.
Mm-hmm.
Smoked that bad boy for about 7.5 hours.
Woo!
And it came out gorgeously delicious. It was slightly on the dry side, just a little bit, but
That's
not enough to.
for.
Well, right. So not enough to really complain a lot about. But yes, it was absolutely delicious. And so I had my family over. My sister made the stuffing, and my sister-in-law made a pumpkin cheesecake. My wife made this layered thing that is like, how do I describe it? It's like pumpkin pie on the bottom, cheesecake in the middle, and pecan pie on top.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah. It was delicious.
That
Absolutely. Just fantastic.
Nice.
So,
very cool.
Did you have a nice Thanksgiving? Was it just you and your wife, or?
Yes, it was. I don't think it affected my wife nearly as much as it did me, but I thought our Thanksgiving was kind of depressing.
Oh.
Yeah. I was just praying that our dog wasn't going to die on Thanksgiving because she's still not doing so good.
Still very sick.
So I was hoping that wouldn't get marred. And we went back and forth. We have a church that we're currently going to now that was doing a Thanksgiving dinner kind of thing for people who didn't either have any other place to go in general, or they didn't have family nearby or stuff like that. And then a church that we used to go to was doing kind of the same thing. We were like, well, we don't know who's going to either one of these things. So there's about a 50-50 shot of which one we might actually know somebody at. So we chose to go to the one that's at the church that we currently go to. And my wife was, after we left, she goes, "That was disgusting." I'm like, "Oh, no." She goes, it was, it wasn't really that the food was terrible. It was bland. Like it was kind of a season it yourself kind of a thing. And I think they've been packing up some Meals on Wheels, like meals there earlier to send out, which is good. It's a great thing. But I think that was the same food that we were ending up with. So it was pretty very basic turkey and some mashed potatoes and green beans, and I don't know. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. And we ran into some friends of ours who didn't go to that church, but went to another church that we used to go to. So that was kind of weird, but we hadn't seen them in forever. So we sat around and talked to them for about, 45 minutes. Then we came home, and that was pretty much the day.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry it was so sad for you guys. If I'd have known, I'd have invited you down.
Yeah. Well, that would have been a lot, but,
Yes. Come down for the day.
Yeah.
Just come down.
Well, we
for
had
the
an
day.
invitation to go to Bend, Oregon, which is about 2.5, 3 hours away. But there also tends to be a lot of snow in between here and there. And we're like,
Yeah, probably best not to.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it was all right. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just kind of like, man, I miss being around family on Thanksgiving.
I know. It's weird. Well, and I have another kind of Thanksgiving tomorrow with the in-laws.
Cool.
They decided to do just themselves, and they have a lady who my mother-in-law works with a women's shelter, and there's a lady who moved out of the women's shelter and she's currently living with them while she tries to get herself into a better place. And so they ended up doing Thanksgiving with them. If anybody's wondering why the camera's shaking, it's because my dog Toby decided to come in, and his tail is banging into the desk, and he's being very friendly right now. So I think my girls just left to go out with their Nana for a little while, and so Toby's like, I want to be with people.
Right.
So it's all right, Toby. It's okay, buddy. Yeah. Why don't you lay down? Yeah. Find a good spot and lay down. Okay? Good boy. Yeah, good boy.
This is live podcasting.
It is. This is what it's like. It's like what live radio used to be, except we intentionally don't edit out all that garbage.
Right.
So, that's just the way it is.
Right.
Well, we've got some news stuff to cover and a couple of topics to talk about today. So, I don't know, Paul, why don't you just start us off?
Start?
Yeah. Just get us going.
All right. I can do that.
Yeah.
So Matt Baird, for those of you in the know, of course, is the lead singer for the band Spoken. Well, he has been kind of toying around, you could tell, on doing a solo project for a while. I think he's done kind of the Jeremy Spring model of doing a good bit of touring when the band is not doing its touring by himself, and bringing along his wife, and I think he has a daughter or a son. No, I think he's got a son. Anyway, and they sometimes will come with him, and so he's finally looking at recording some of this good stuff. So he started a Kickstarter campaign looking to raise about $10,000. I think he's a pretty decent way along. I'm going to check on the exact figures here for you, but it's going to be a worship album, which is interesting. I wouldn't have pegged him for doing a worship record, but could be fun. But he's at $2,300, looking to get to about $10,000, and he's still got a month to go. So I don't think this will be a big problem for him. But so if you want to help him out and get in on the Kickstarter goodies that come with helping out bands early on, then you should jump on that.
Cool.
Also, kind of, I don't know. I have a feeling that these guys would be friends too. Especially considering maybe it's just the Jeremy Spring tie-in that makes me think that the guys from Spoken would get along with the Bad Christian guys somewhat well. But anyway, Bad Christian's looking to do a kind of a compilation coming up very soon, because they're going to be releasing it in December. It's going to be called The Lineup. And it's going to have, of course, bands that are currently part of their label, which include Emery, The Classic Crime, King's Kaleidoscope, and I thought a band in Kansas was going to have something on there too, but I guess they don't.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see them listed in the list.
Yeah. But also on there, I don't know what the connection is to these other bands. Maybe they're bands that they're thinking about signing, and they're just kind of using this as a testing ground, or maybe that's just music for filler. I don't know. But anyway, also bands Almost Normal, Elisa or Asila, Cardinal Harbor, Convalescence, Crowns, Edelweiss.
Edelweiss.
Edelweiss. As in
well, it's actually Edelweiss because the W has the V sound, but yes.
Right. So, Sound of Music fans rejoice. There is a band called Edelweiss. Jameson, Kevin William, and the Search for Safety, and Talking Trees. Now, Talking Trees I've actually heard of before. Right. I don't know that much about them, but they're the only band in that group that I've heard of before. So it'll be interesting to see what that compilation ends up sounding like, for sure.
Yeah. No, that looks interesting. We'll have to definitely see what's going on with that when it hits the airwaves or the store or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, for today, Phineas and Silent Planet are hitting a mini tour in January. Now, I know Phineas is coming through Santa Rosa in December.
Right.
So we've got a table we're setting up at that local show to make that happen, to help make that happen. So if you are in, let's see, Springfield, Missouri, Nashville, Tennessee, Columbia, Jacksonville, or Pensacola, January 14th through the 18th, you'll have an opportunity. If you're into hardcore, that is, to go see For Today. Special guests are, of course, Phineas and Silent Planet. So For Today is the headliner. And so it's pretty cool that those are grouping together and heading out to do a tour together. So hardcore fans rejoice. It is very much alive and well.
Yeah, that it is.
All right, Hearts Like Lions.
Yeah, they're a new signing to Tooth and Nail, and another signing that I think a lot of people are like, who?
Yeah,
I think
I'm
for
like that.
A decent amount of bands that get signed to Tooth and Nail usually have done a good amount of DIYing it around enough to where they have at least maybe gotten some airplay somewhere, or they've been kind of on a compilation at some point, or they usually have a decent amount of work put into where you've kind of heard of them. But these guys, I had not heard anything about them. I mean, the name might even sound barely familiar, but that was about it. And it could just be because, well, let's face it, Hearts Like Lions. I mean, on the inside, roaring like a lion. Maybe maybe that line just scarred in my brain to where everything's like, oh yeah, I've heard of that before. No, wait, no, gosh.
Not only is it scarred in your brain, but when you came and visited me, my kids were singing it up on the platform.
I know. It follows me. And it's sung by a children's choir. There's nothing creepier than that. I kept on waiting for them to transition and make it into a mashup and be like, something wicked this way comes.
You know what? You know what I wanted to hear them say?
Like God, Chewbacca!
Oh, that would have been a welcomed addition. Especially if you can imagine like hearing about 12 kids trying to do that in unison. That would be hilarious.
Well, as I was editing that clip this morning, my 6-year-old Hannah was in the kitchen, and I kept hearing her going, rrr, rrr, rrr. Rrr, rrr. Captain Kirk says we need to start a band called Ferb and go on tour with Phineas.
Oh, yes!
Hey,
we should.
I tell you what, Ferb could be your Phineas cover band.
There you go. As if Phineas wasn't niche enough as it was.
Right. Exactly. So we'll. It remains to be seen what this Hearts Like Lions is going to end up being like. So keep your eyes out on Tooth and Nail Records for when their album drops.
Actually, they have an EP that's out now.
Oh,
yeah, they signed them, and then 3 days later they released an EP. I'm guessing it was already done, obviously, when they got signed. But you can pick it up for $2.
Oh, not bad.
At the Tooth and Nail Records web store. Oh, I'll tell you the back. You can get it for $2 in the Tooth and Nail web store with the purchase of any item. So if you buy a sticker,
yeah,
then you can get it for $2.
There you go.
So I don't know how much it costs otherwise, but I mean, it's kind of an interesting tie-in. But I don't know that I have the money to go around and just randomly buy something else. So I may have to be sending Tooth and Nail an email, and be like, hey, so that band, I kind of like to hear them. I don't want to buy anything.
yeah. Could you can you hook a brother up?
Yeah,
hook a brother up.
I'm kind of in your wheelhouse of professions here. Help me out here.
Oh man. Has it been a year, really, since the Chariot disbanded?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Wow, that is crazy. My goodness. So it's been a year since the Chariot played their last show in Douglasville, Georgia. They've partnered with Imagery Storm to release their hour-long documentary titled Forget Not, which follows the story of that final farewell tour. Now, there's a link. Apparently, you can watch it from Indievision Music, or there's a link to be able to watch it on Indievision Music. So if you are a Chariot fan and you want to go see what's going on with that documentary, watch them as they say goodbye. I'm guessing that Anberlin will probably have something similar come out after their last show.
Which it's done. They're done. Their last show was this past week.
Yes, that's exactly right.
So they are finished. Now, I had heard in a recent interview with Stephen Christian from Anberlin that there has been a lot of talk, at least I'm guessing with Tooth and Nail or maybe Atlantic or Columbia or whoever they were with on the mainstream side, about some potential either re-releases or box sets or remixes or alternate versions. So I think that their output is not quite done. But as far as new things that they will create themselves, they're done.
Right.
So.
I mean, unless you go in and find, unless they decide to release a bunch of B-sides or, unreleased music from Anberlin, that would make it new,
Right.
But they'll. This is going to sound bad the way I'm going to say it, but I don't mean it in the bad way that you think it might be. They're going to milk it for all it's worth.
Oh, yes.
They'll prolong the inevitable for as long as they possibly can.
Right.
So,
because that's just how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. 5 Iron Frenzy. In honor of 5 Iron Frenzy Day, which is the 23rd of November, apparently, or the 22nd of November.
Yeah.
They released a new music video.
Yeah.
It's called So Far, and I have not taken the time to watch it yet.
Me neither.
But it's off of their latest album, Engine of a Million Plots. And you can also check that out on indievisionmusic.com if you want. Tom says, not sure if you heard, but Anberlin's Toronto date was canceled because they got stuck in that huge snowstorm in Buffalo. I know a good chunk of people that were more than bummed out. One guy even trucked down to Florida to catch them. Wow. I had not heard that, Tom.
See, this is what makes me feel like I'm kind of a poser in the industry that I'm in, because I don't know of any band that I would drive from Canada to Florida to see their final show.
I don't know that I would consider people who do that in their right mind. I mean, I get annoyed when I have to drive an hour to San Francisco to see a band. Much less driving from California to Florida to catch these guys. Like, really? Really? So
it's not that we're not fans. We're just sane.
Yeah, I think that's what it boils down to. Most definitely. Well, it comes to the sad portion of the show.
Yeah. Prepare to be depressed. If you don't already know about this, you're about to be depressed fairly quickly.
Yeah, it's
if you're having a bad day, you might want to skip forward about 10 or 15 minutes.
We all got word of Scott Stapp recently that he is having some major struggles at the moment. Right. There's a lot out there that is going around, and I don't know. I don't think that we have any idea what the actual truth really is.
Right.
So let me preface everything we're about to say with that.
Yeah.
We don't know what the truth is. We have one side of the story. Oh, hang on a second. Dang it. Stupid overload failure garbage.
Oh, did your recording stop?
Yes, it did.
Ah.
Okay, you know what I'm going to do?
What are you going to do?
I am going to... Bear with me a second, folks.
Sure.
I'm going to put my phone in Do Not Disturb mode. I am going to launch Twisted Wave.
And I'm going to continue eating my Fran's Bake Shop fruit pie. It's blackberry. Considering I know people in the chat room were thinking it was shawarma. Or a cranberry and turkey burrito.
Check 1 2. Test 1 2 3. Okay, so this is now recording onto my phone. Let me input a little more. Check 1 2. Too much. Check 1 2. Okay, so I want to be sure that we're clear on this, that we don't know what the truth is.
Right. It's obvious something's wrong.
Something is definitely going on. Now, if you'll remember, I was exceedingly sad because Scott had to cancel his tour, and that was, the middle of October, I think it was, when I was supposed to go see him in Sacramento. And he ended up having to cancel his tour. All that he announced at that moment was that he had some kind of a setback in his rehab.
Right.
And so he's, and that was pretty much it. I hadn't heard anything else really from him up to that point.
Right.
Now, we have this video that came out last week, or earlier this week, I guess. And I saw this video pop up, and I'm like, oh, Scott Stapp made a new video. So I figured, I'll, check in on it and see. I got through, it was a 15-minute long video. I got through about 4 minutes of it, and I had to turn it off.
Right.
Because it was literally heartbreaking. He is having either a major relapse and is back using again, or he is having a mental breakdown, or both.
Right.
And this kind of stuff just absolutely breaks my heart. I cannot tell you how sad I am to see this kind of thing going on, no matter what the issue really is, whether it is that he's back on drugs or whether it is that he's having a breakdown, or, both. Reports have stated that his wife is filing for divorce, that she is done, that she can't take anymore after 8 years of being married and trying to help him through his issues, for lack of a better word. It seems as though she is to the point now where she can't do it anymore. And she's got to get out for what she says is the protection of her family, her kids.
Right.
I have to trust that that's what is actually going on there. Honestly, I don't know otherwise. This whole thing is just so sucky because the man is so talented. So talented. And to see this happen to him, it makes me wonder, is this, we talk about Satan attacking and that kind of stuff. Is this what that is? Was he doing so well that's what happened? Or is this, is it something else? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I think the biggest challenge for Scott Stapp, assuming that this is a slip as far as his sobriety goes and not as much just him having just a completely mental break, but, I think that the biggest problem for him is that I think so much of his former life that led into him having, an alcohol and a drug problem back in the day comes from being in a very high profile, high powered band. And when you're in that situation, any of those things that you want, I don't even care if you're a Christian band, somebody's going to offer you. And it doesn't have to be, more than likely you're not even going to pay for it for a while.
Right.
It's that thing of, the first one's free. So I think that with all that, comes this problem of he's a musician, he's a songwriter, he's a performer. That's what he knows how to do. I dare say he doesn't have a ton of other skill sets that he's been able to hone over the years because he was in Creed at a fairly young age.
Right.
And that's what he's been doing
college.
since then. Yeah. So you go through that, and then you also have it tied into your addiction. So even though he had evidently, when you and I had interviewed him, he seemed to be doing really well. He seemed to be on the straight and narrow, but you go back on the road, you go back on tour, it's kind of like being an alcoholic and having to be a bartender.
Right.
You're just going right back into it. And it's everywhere. And, some people can be okay with that. Brian Head Welch seems to be doing very well. And I think that maybe what the difference is to a certain degree may be that I know that there's different levels of addiction and different kind of reasons for using drugs and alcohol in certain ways. I think some people are just trying to fill a void. And when that void is filled by something else, they don't feel like they need it. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's probably the case for Brian, being that it doesn't seem like it doesn't feel like he's ever gone back, or at least if he has, he's hidden it extremely well, because none of us have heard anything about that. You know?
Right.
And there's been people watching him like a hawk.
Yeah, totally.
Because he was a whole lot more high profile coming out of that than Scott Stapp was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I think for Scott Stapp, I think it is more of an addiction that's not so much him trying to fill a hole. It's just something that he's gotten into that he just craves to a certain degree. And that's just really hard to beat, as opposed to just somebody saying, I enjoy it. There's a difference.
He's the kind of guy, it seems to me, that needs a person who can stick by his side everywhere.
Yeah. Right. Oh,
and, basically anytime anyone comes up to try and offer him anything, that person slaps them and tells them to go away, and just continues to encourage Scott to maintain. There are addictive personalities that have the ability to get over that hump and to realize, and I think Brian is a great example of that, that he was able to put all of that stuff aside, or so far, at least.
Yeah.
And yet, Scott doesn't seem to have that. Going on tour, I think all of the pressure of tour and all of the angst and the nerves and the jitters, I think he probably thought that he would do a little to calm himself down.
Yeah. And
it just ended up escalating back into a whole different thing. Kirk says that he needs a Sharon Osbourne.
Right.
And that's not too far off the mark. He needs that person who can help regulate him. And, his wife couldn't be that person because she's at home taking care of the kids. Rightly so. The kids need a mom. They also need a dad. But he obviously, there's people that he surrounded himself with that could not, couldn't help control him the way that he needs to be controlled. And Scott also has to be able to put all of his trust into that person,
right,
to do what's in his best interest. In his video, he's rambling about people that have stolen from him. He said, he was supposed to have made a lot of money off of this album, but he said he doesn't have any money right now. Somebody's stealing it. He's got
the IRS garnered all of his money, and they won't get it back to him for 9 months.
Yeah, frozen his accounts, and all of this kind of stuff. And then we have his wife's side of the story, that he's sent these random texts talking about how their hometown's not safe, that there's terrorist attacks coming, all of this kind of stuff. And so she, of course, fears for her safety and her kids' safety.
Right.
There's so much about this that we don't know, because we're not there in the middle of the situation. Kirk has mentioned prayer. It's absolutely essential right now that Scott and his family get prayed for. It sounds trite to say it, but honestly, it's the best thing at this point, especially from our removed perspective,
right,
from the situation. Now, then this also begs the question: if Scott cleans himself up again and decides to try and make another comeback, how many people are going to believe it?
Right. Well, and the thing that makes it even maybe more weird is in that video, he's also talking about, all the people who are trying to stop me from saying that I love Jesus. I'm not going to let you stop me. He's taking it kind of personally, and he's connecting. You have these kind of really crazy sounding rants side by side with his proclamation of faith, which I'm sure a lot of people are very quickly distancing themselves from.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't help any that, especially for the mainstream community, Scott Stapp and Creed, especially when they were kind of at the end of that run, were kind of like what Nickelback is now. They were so popular that people just hated them. You know, it's like, sure, I own their first two albums. It's manufactured rock. It's not real. They kind of had the unfortunate happenstance of being that band for that era.
Right.
And that doesn't help any. And I think a lot of people kind of very specifically targeted Scott Stapp with that criticism too, because no one makes fun of Alter Bridge, and it's the same band with a different lead singer. I mean, it's the same thing, but it's like Scott Stapp always kind of, whether on purpose or not, somehow invited that criticism. And then this does not help.
I was reading through some of the comments, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, but one of the comments was this: Creed sucks, but Mark Tremonti's a great guitarist.
Right.
How can you... How does that even make sense?
Yeah, well, people don't make sense.
No. Well, and so the whole reading through the comments after every video, such vitriol.
Right.
My goodness, so many people telling him, go kill yourself. And essentially forget about you. You sucked. You've never been any good. You deserve all of this. You had all this money and you blew it. Ha, ha, ha. That's your judgment. What in the world, people?
Right.
Honestly.
I don't understand that mindset of just thoroughly enjoying other people's failures.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, even if you don't, it's like, why wish that on people? And I've come around to this a few times on the show, but it's just that whole internet mentality of no one's ever going to track me down and tell me off for it. I can say whatever I want to because no one knows who I am. What difference does it make?
Yeah.
And I think this is funny. And it's like, no, it's not funny.
It's that internet.
It just isn't.
Internet ambiguity or
right.
That's not the word I'm looking for. Anonymity. That's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah. That internet anonymity, quote unquote, internet anonymity. You know. So the big thing is just be praying for Scott. Be praying for his family. They are having a very difficult time, and I would not wish this on anybody. Even my worst enemy, the kind of sufferings that their family's going through right now, especially the holidays. There's no good time for any of this to happen, but it seems worse when it happens over the holidays.
Right. Right. And it's just, it's sad. I mean, it's hard to think of being that person who, whether or not he has any money for real right now, or if it's just, because one of the theories was that when his wife filed for divorce, she basically, because their accounts would have been joint accounts, that she froze them just so he wouldn't go out and blow it on whatever, because one statement that I had seen out there was saying that she had stated something about him, being on several different things. And that's the reason why he was having a breakdown as he was.
Right.
And I understand kind of wanting to cut off that revenue stream to keep him from buying more. But it's just a weird place to be. So I don't know what all that is going to end up leading to. But it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, it's an exceedingly sad situation, and we don't want to fuel the fire. We're certainly not pointing fingers at anybody because we don't know who to point fingers at. So it's silly for us to go, oh, well, this person's wrong and that person's wrong, and all of this. I want Scott to get the help that he desperately needs. I want to help him figure out a way to help him get that help so that it becomes a permanent thing. Because man, the guy is talented. I don't care if you like his stuff or not. The guy's talented. Very, very talented.
Yeah, and his new record was good. I mean, if you haven't heard it and you were at all a fan of Creed, you should check it out because it's solid. It's not like, the most awesome record ever, but it's a good album.
Yeah.
Especially considering this is I haven't done anything in about 10 years.
Right.
And now I'm coming back. It was really good.
Exactly.
And who knows? I mean, what may end up being the best thing for him, honestly, is if he can't find that person that will keep him completely in line to tour with, maybe he just needs to become somebody who just does studio albums and then, helps other people write or does guest vocals on something. But, he needs to figure out what works for him. And I mean, that comes, everyone I think has their different levels. Mm-hmm. Everyone has that something that they struggle with that they have to remove themselves from in some way or another because it's going to cause problems.
Right.
And, this appears to be that for him, and it's just a matter of what the solution is. And, I think there's a solution out there. It's just a matter of figuring out what it is in time.
Yeah, I agree. We wish you the best of luck, Scott. We really, really do. Hope everything is able to get worked out for you and you can move on with your life and be a dad to your kids and all of that. I mean, that's what you need. So we hope that's what happens.
Absolutely.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
And a hard place. New music.
Midnight Clear.
Christmas songs are a cherished, sacred cow for many during our era of commercially hijacked holidays. Many of them are proclaimed year after year to bring back to mind the true meaning of Christmas. Attached to a lot of them are heartstrings and memories, emotions that help get us in the spirit of the season. So if you're going to compile an album of Christmas music with a bit of a metallic twist, you better do it right. Other labels have attempted. BEC set a pretty high bar a few years ago with X Christmas, and now we welcome the latest addition to the scene, a feisty festive record known as Midnight Clear, brought to us by Solid State Records. The majority of the bands featured on this compilation are signed to Solid State, with the exception of a few. Memphis May Fire, who has sold over 250,000 records in their career, appears courtesy of Rise Records. For Today appears courtesy of Razor and Tie, and August Burns Red, one of metal's most beloved acts, jumped over to Fearless Records back in August 2014, but perhaps their inclusion was a fulfillment of contractual obligations or just a simple nod to the decade partnership they had with Solid State. Either way, they're a welcomed addition and a prime candidate to kick off the album. ABR gets it going with their version of Joy to the World. By the way, the term their version applies to 7 out of 10 of the tracks on this record because those songs are mere shadows of their traditional counterparts. August Burns Red almost tricks you into thinking you're going to hear the classic Joy to the World you grew up with as a jazzy acoustic intro starts the song, but then the heavy electrics swell up and you're hit between the eyes with a more familiar ABR sound, not unlike the 2012 Christmas album Sleddin' Hill. Speaking of which, the track Flurries from that album caps off Midnight Clear. Fit for a King gives us a soothing rendition of vintage God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. Several other Christian bands have covered this song, and Fit for a King's stands up with the rest of them, although I will say Pillar's version is my fave. The outspoken Matty Montgomery and his fellow bandmates in For Today show us how the ancient Israelites would have begged for relief from oppression had hardcore music been the genre of choice for those in Babylonian exile. Almost rap-like screams fill the verses of O Come Emmanuel until Matty beautifully sings the chorus with thick harmonies. Wolves at the Gate appear twice on the album, once with their interpretation of Come Thou Long Expected Jesus, and their previously released The King. The standout song on the record has to be the addition of Memphis May Fire's He Came With Love. Being more mellow and orchestrated, it's definitely a departure from the overall vibe of the compilation, but in a way that new Christmas songs often fail to do, this song gives us a great sounding, singable tune that encapsulates the Christian message. If you're gonna iTunes this album, make this one of the songs you download for sure. If you're looking for a song that makes you get off your butt and jump around the tree this Christmas, look no further than the ongoing Concepts' Jingle Bell Rock. I know it's a Christmas song, but I'd love to see a video. I can totally picture the boys thrashing around a tree in typical OC style. Forevermore shows us their prog chops and delivers the antithesis of Silent Night. This night is anything but silent. Forevermore mixes moods, time signatures, beats backed by absolutely epic drumming and guitar shredding. The toughest song to pull off and get away with would have to be the favorite of many, Oh Holy Night. But becoming the archetype, at least for fans of metal, don't disappoint. I mean, some people will be creeped out by the haunting children's choir and the growled vocals, but metalheads will dig it for sure. Since having access to this album, I've probably run through it 4 or 5 times. I really enjoy it, and I see it as an excellent stocking stuffer for the Christian rock fan in your life. It has more bite than frost and gets you in the mood for some eggnog and fruitcake. I think this one has some staying power and will be in my personal Christmas rotation for a few years. I give Midnight Clear, a solid state compilation, 4.5 rocks out of 5. For the Rock in a Hard Place podcast, I'm Tom Labonte.
That's right. Tom Labonte is the host of The Edge on UCB Canada, and you can find more info about him at ucbcanada.com. I was listening to this in my car the other day, and I must say that I enjoyed very much what I'd heard. I have not heard the entire thing yet. Of course, we found out that I've only gotten 7 of the 10 tracks that are supposed to have been delivered to us. So I'm working on correcting that mistake so that we can get it taken care of. But I've enjoyed it very much. Have you checked it out at all, Paul?
I went through and could just kind of previewed most of the songs on there, but I haven't listened to it all the way through. The ones that I listened to, I really enjoyed. I have one of the tracks on this week's Christian Rock 20. If you're going to ask me which one it is, I can't really
Couldn't
remember.
tell you.
I think it was is it Forevermore? Is that the name of one of the bands on there? I don't know. There's one of there's 2 bands on there that to me sound. Yeah, I think it was Forevermore because at first I was thinking it was Fit for a Kings, but I think it's Forevermore that's on there, and I really enjoyed that when I included that one this week. So yeah. I mean, I think it's really good. I think it's nice to have more bands than just August Burns Red being involved in making some heavy Christmas music, because I think that August Burns Red has proven that it can be really good.
Right.
So I think that it was kind of fun. Ironically enough, I think the August Burns Red track on this, Joy to the World or whatever, is probably too heavy for me. It gets a little bit too thrashy for my personal taste. It's still really good, but I don't know. I mean, it's not bad at all. It's just a little too heavy for me, but still good stuff though. Yeah.
No, I've enjoyed it. There are a couple songs on there that are a bit out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But it's to each his own. To each his own. Well, I tell you, Paul, if you're gonna listen to albums, you need to have a good pair of headphones, right?
I thoroughly agree.
And one place that people can go to find a good pair of headphones that are inexpensive and, according to Captain Kirk, have a fantastic warranty is where?
I believe that would be tweakedaudio.com.
That would be 100% correct. Check out tweakedaudio.com for your headphones. And I tell you what, if you buy them and use the code HARDPLACE, not only do you get a discount, but Broken FM, the Rock in a Hard Place podcast, gets a portion of those sales. What do we know about Tweaked Audio? Well, how about this? You get 7 different styles, 7 different colors. You can get them with a mic, without a mic. They're compatible with all devices and MP3 players that can handle the smaller headphone jack, the 1/8-inch headphone jack. The code HARDPLACE, all one word. It's not case sensitive. Gives you 33% off. You always get free shipping. You always get a lifetime warranty. And as Kirk can attest, he busted his a couple of weeks ago, utilized the warranty. They sent him a brand new pair of headphones. He said it was that easy. So we're super stoked about that. Tweakedaudio.com is where you want to go. Be sure to check them out.
Yeah, show them some love.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things we were going to talk about today is I came across this article on Facebook.
Okay.
And it is from classicchristianrockzone.blogspot.com.
All right.
Quite the mouthful. I didn't even know this website existed until I saw this list on Facebook.
All righty.
So this is the 100 greatest Christian rock guitarists of all time.
All right.
Number 100, Tony Rossi.
Okay. Please tell me it says what bands they're from.
Yeah, apparently he's the guitarist from Daniel Band.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Okay. And he released a blues album in 1990.
Okay.
So there you go. 99 is Eric Turner.
All right.
He did Eastgate. And let me see. The new Eric Turner Band album called Seven.
Okay.
Yeah, some of these guys I don't know at all. Will McFarland, he spent 6 years playing guitar with Bonnie Raitt from 74 to 80.
Nice.
Let's see. Seeing the Beatles play when he was 12 inspired him to take up guitar. He developed a taste for R&B. So yeah, he is one of them. Bill Blatter, Sweet Crystal, apparently is what he was with.
Okay. I don't know them either.
Yeah, I don't either. Kirk Henderson, Greg Flesh, Wayne Johnson, Larry Howard. These are all names that I don't know. Sister Rosetta Tharpe from the 1930s and 40s, a gospel recording artist.
Oh, interesting.
Let me see. Sean O'Donnell is the brother of Stephen Patrick, ex-Holy Soldier. Great guitarist who participated in several musical projects with his brother Stephen. Victory was his first musical project, and he released a cassette with 4 songs and solo guitar in '87. He was also guitarist in the solo album of Stephen Patrick, Red Rain, and he played guitar in the band Bangladesh.
Okay.
So there you go.
Right.
Jason Truby began his career in '89 with Living Sacrifice as the lead guitarist.
Yeah.
He was also a member of POD, but he's performed with Phil Keaggy, David Beagle, Ashley Cleveland, and her husband Kenny Greenberg, and was the guest performer with Phil Keaggy's band Glass Harp at the first annual Denver Guitar Festival.
Yeah. Oh, I love him. Although it's funny, I enjoy it better when he plays metal than when he goes kind of off on his own thing.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And this sounds terrible, but see, I feel kind of like, which I know you're going to hate this, but I feel kind of like I do with Steve Taylor and Guardian, that I kind of wish Guardian had not worked with Steve Taylor, because I liked their previous sound, even though I thoroughly enjoyed Buzz and Bottle Rocket, but it was kind of one of those things where I liked it better before, because I'm weird like that. But anyway, I feel kind of the same way about that, and feel guilty about it in the same way that I feel bad about not liking POD with Jason Truby. Because I like Jason Truby and I like POD, but I didn't like them working together very much. But part of that came with, I was like, when Jason Truby joined, both me and my roommate in college were like, oh my goodness. So that means like POD is going to get heavier, because they have like a former Living Sacrifice guitars. This is going to be like awesome. And then it came out, we're like, oh, he's bringing classical guitar riffs to POD. What?
I was confused. I'm confused.
I don't know why we're doing this.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. Number 89 is David Huff, who mostly known for his work with contemporary Christian rock group David and the Giants.
Right.
Means absolutely nothing to me.
Oh, you don't know David and the Giants?
No.
They're probably one of those bands I think you would have had to have liked in the era that they were big.
Gotcha.
I saw them at a water park, and they performed right in front of and / above a wave pool, which was an interesting place to see somebody perform. But other than that, I could kind of take or leave their music. But yeah, they were kind of a big deal back then, but they were kind of a soft rock kind of a thing more than anything.
So number 88, I have no idea how to pronounce this guy's name. I'm going to say it's Doug Thieme.
Sure.
Thieme.
Okay.
Okay. Began as guitarist for Vengeance Rising.
Ooh, yes.
And then he left that in 1990 to form Die Happy with Larry Farkas.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm on board.
Good deal.
I will endorse that one.
And then apparently he formed a band called Once Dead with Vengeance member Glenn Mancaruso.
Yeah, I think that was actually a good chunk. Well, it may have just been the two of them, but yeah, that was kind of a thing. The Vengeance Rising lead singer, like, he was one of those people who went from being like way on fire for God to, I hate God, I hate Jesus, I hate the church, I hate everything, Satan is awesome. And you're just going, oh, wow, that was kind of a turnaround there, wasn't it? So I think a lot of people are really hoping that, I know there's a lot of continual prayers going on for him, but I think it was a good chunk of that band going on to do something else with a different lead singer. So
Gotcha.
Anyway.
87, Jimmy Abegg, known for the pop rock band Vector.
Right.
Okay.
And now he's the guitarist for Steve Taylor in The Perfect Foil.
Oh, is he? Well, there
Yes,
you
he
go.
is.
I guess he joined Rich Mullins' Ragamuffin Band for a while, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, good deal. Good deal. Let's see here. Eric Van Zant.
Okay, that sounds very familiar. I couldn't tell you exactly what he was in, though.
Seventh Time Down.
Ooh, yeah.
So, recent.
That's right.
Recent.
Yeah.
Edition. So he's number 84. Number 85 is John Lynn, passed away in October of 2000, but he was a popular session and live concert guitarist, most noticed for his searing guitar leads live and on albums by contemporary Christian artists, including Larry Norman, Randy Stonehill, Mark Hurd, Chuck Girard, etc.
Wow.
So good
awesome.
studio musician, yeah. Mike Lee, but in the article they call him Michael Drive. He's the co-founder of the legendary band Barren Cross.
Mm-hmm.
So born and raised in Los Angeles. Okay. Stephen Mason, let's see, from Decatur, attended schools. Where is he? Mason joined Jars of Clay as the founding member in 1993 with singer Dan Hasseltine and pianist Charlie Lowell while studying at Greenville College. So, Jars of Clay. Brian Wooten. Does that name sound familiar?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's played with bands like Whiteheart and Petra, including the songs God Fixation and Double Take. And he has... He's been playing guitar for country music artist Trace Adkins, apparently, since 2008.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Let's see. Glenn Rogers for the thrash band Heretic.
I'm not familiar with Heretic. I've heard the name, but I don't know any of their stuff.
Yeah, not a band I know either. Rick Martinez from the San Francisco Bay Area. He played in the Christian band, or he helped form the Christian band Soldier, that released two cassettes, Louder Than Hell and Babylon. Mm-hmm. The band was never signed, but it sold over 4,000 units. So apparently he's also appeared on some compilations, California Metal 2, Classic Metal, and White Metal Invasion. After a 5-year run of live shows around California, Soldier disbanded. Mm-hmm. Greg... I'm guessing it's Hoff, Hough. Greg Hoff is a Christian musician and with Bob Hartman, one of the founding members in 72 of the band Petra.
Nice.
So he's had a lot of stuff going on there. Mark Frederick Farner, best known as the lead singer and guitarist for Grand Funk Railroad.
Yeah.
So, and later contemporary Christian musician.
We're an American band.
Yeah, very nice. Bruce Fitzhugh is the second and best-known lead vocalist, rhythm guitarist, and founding member of Arkansas's Christian metal band
Living Sacrifice.
I figured you'd know that.
Yeah, Bruce. And it's so funny to see him perform and meet him because he's got, that really, very aggressive, low-end kind of growl, speak/sing. And then you walk up to meet him, and he comes up to about my chest.
Right.
He's not a very tall feller.
Awesome. Good deal. Eric Mendez. This is what Eric told us about his history. I always saw people play the guitar with chords. G boring, D boring, strumming, kumbaya. Then one day I saw a guy play a melody to Happy Birthday on the high E string. Then down the road, another guy play the main riff to My Sharona. So I had to learn that. I lived in a poor slum in Manila, so I had to go to my cousin's house and stole all their acoustic guitars. Man, that felt good, having 5 crappy broken guitars around. I ended up smashing them after watching Elvis do it. My dad bought me an Applause acoustic that had bass strings on them. Those strings... those strings would last a year, then so would the frets. So maybe that was God telling me to play bass. After playing acoustic for 3 years, Mom bought me my first electric. I played from 4 to 8 to 10 hours a day. I joined the heavy metal band Aid, better known as Tourniquet, then I quit. The end.
That is such a long story for that.
All this time, all this practice, all this stuff, I joined Tourniquet, then I quit.
Yeah. Now, what was his name again? I've already forgotten because it was so far at the beginning.
Eric Mendez.
Eric Mendez.
Eric
Okay.
Mendez. Bjorn Stigson is a Swedish guitarist and one of the pioneers of Swedish Christian metal. He's best known for the groups Leviticus and XT.
Okay, yeah.
There you go. Derry Doherty.
Derry Doherty, yeah.
So there you go. Let's skip a few. Steve Osborne, Jerry McPherson, excuse me. Lynn Nichols, John Michael Talbot.
Now, do you know who Lynn Nichols was?
Lynn Nichols. Well, I do because I've got it right here. He's a member of the Phil Keaggy Band.
And he was also in Chagall Guevara with Steve Taylor's mainstream outfit.
There you go. It looks like he's played with, my goodness, each record featured an all-star cast of musicians, including the likes of Mark Hurd, Steve Taylor, Derry Doherty, Jimmy Abegg, Ashley Cleveland, Randy Stonehill, John Mark Painter of Fleming and John, and Charlie Peacock, Sam Bush, Russ Taff, and fellow Keaggy Band members Phil Madeira. Nichols joined Steve Taylor, Mike Mead, Wade Janes, and Dave Perkins to form the band Chagall Guevara. Yeah. Nichols has also worked on other albums with Keaggy, as well as albums by the band Perry, Mute Math, Matt Kearney, Sam Phillips, Luna Halo, The Elms, Rebecca St. James, Stacey Orico, Zoe Girl, Newsboys, Toby Mac Switchfoot, Phil and John, Amy Grant, Russ Taff, Mandisa, and many others.
He's a busy feller.
That guy is busy. That guy is very busy.
And all that, and in Chagall, he played bass.
Yeah. Nice. John Michael Talbot.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see here. Formed a band, country folk rock band formed with his older brother Terry Talbot, embarked on a spiritual journey that led him through Native American religion, Buddhism to Christianity.
Yeah.
So he looks like a big guy with a beard.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Sorry. He looks like a big guy with a beard. Good for him.
That sounded harsher than I intended it. Randy Thomas.
Okay, yeah.
He is number 69. Best known for being in the member. Best known for being the member of the Sweet Comfort Band and Allies, and co-writing the song "Butterfly Kisses."
That's right.
Let me see. He performed with Sam Scott and Bob Carlisle in Psalm 150, then joined the Sweet Comfort Band in 75. He's got a long, long story, so yeah. I'm not going to go all the way there. Rob Tahan is the guitarist and one of the founders of Ashed Remain. Oh, Ashes Remain. They spelled it wrong.
Oh, yeah, that band that we play on Broken FM.
Yeah. Well, it said Ashed Remain, and I'm like, no, I think that's Ashes Remain.
Yeah.
Formed in 2001. So, Kirk says he should be banished for Butterfly Kisses. That's sad, dude. Noah Henson.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know who Noah Henson is?
I'm guessing is that Noah from Pillar?
It is Noah from Pillar.
Nice.
That's right. Lead guitarist for the Christian rock band Pillar. Joined after Travis Jenkins left in 2001.
See, I'm having issues with this list already, but that's okay.
Well, talk about it. Tell me what's going on.
Well, Pillar's a good band, but there's so many people that we've already gone through that I'm like, maybe there are people who wrote this list know stuff that I don't know, but I'm just thinking about all these really technical thrash guitarists that we've already been through, and I'm just going, they could play circles around Noah from Pillar. And I like Pillar, but I'm still, I don't know. Sometimes I think it just comes down to maybe we just haven't seen everything that person could do.
Right. So maybe, I don't know. Okay, so at number 66 is Ray Paris. Does that name sound familiar to you?
No.
Baron Cross.
Oh, okay, nice.
Okay. 65 is P.K. Mitchell.
Okay.
Former guitarist with best friend Don from Neon Cross. They called their first band incarnation Quality Trash. It was a pseudo rock punk outfit doing covers and original materials. Okay. So PK eventually left Neon Cross to pursue other musical ventures. Various groups during this time, including a thrash band called Impaler.
That sounds just cuddly.
Yes, doesn't it, though? Let's see. Jamie Kramer at number 64 of founders of the Holy Soldier Band with bassist Andy Robbins in 1985. Let me see. They are the only members that have been present in all projects of Holy Soldier, from his first demos in 86 to the last album, Encore, in 97. Wow. So that was very cool. Let's see. Dave Payton with bands Eternity, Cruise Family, Free Fair, David Teams and The Calling, Mylan Lefevre, and Broken Heart, and as a solo artist on Refuge label. Records. Yeah, Refuge label. Number 62, Corey Cooper.
Okay.
That's
I'm
it.
Sorry.
Just, okay.
I find that just funny to a certain... I'm not saying she's a bad guitarist, but as I remember, they had to teach her how to play guitar so she could start playing guitar instead of just doing backing vocals and keyboards, which they got to the point where there wasn't a whole lot of need for full-time keyboardists in the band after, their like second through their third album or something like that. Yeah. And so it's just funny. And I'm not saying that it's not possible for somebody to go from not knowing how to play guitar to being taught how to play guitar while they're in a band to then become that high on a list. But at the same time, I do find it slightly unlikely.
Okay. So, all right. So there you have it. She's the keyboard and guitarist for Skillet. Her husband is John, lead singer of the band, as well as one of the founding members. So let's see. Bill Menchen. He is first known for the band Final Axe.
And he was also in a band called Asteroid.
Yeah. And is the vocalist and guitarist of Seventh Power.
All right. Well,
that's with fun. Robert Sweet and Rod Reasoner. Number 60, Robert Randolph.
This guy is awesome.
Is he?
Yeah, when he first hit the scene, everyone was like, he's like Jimi Hendrix, but on a steel guitar rather than on a traditional handheld guitar. But he is smoking. I mean, he can tear that thing up.
Cool. Good deal. Kirk says that Robert Randolph should be higher on this list.
I agree.
Okay. There you go. Tommy Johansson. He's better known as Tommy Rain Zeed. And being the guitarist and vocalist of Rain Zeed. It's REINXEED. He's also the guitarist in Golden Resurrection, and he's participated in other bands like Royal Hester and Megan.
All right.
Stu G. Stuart David Garrard, better known by his name Stu G. He is from the band Delirious.
Question mark.
Yes. Or should I say Delirious?
Delirious?
Delirious. Number 57, Brian Welch.
Why do I know that name?
That guy sounds familiar. Yeah, so Brian Welch at number 57.
Yeah.
Neil Morse at 56.
Yeah. He's Jimmy Spock's beard.
Yeah. Jimmy Brown the second at 55. Michael,
that's the guy who went off the deep end.
Oh, is it?
Oh, no, it isn't. Never mind. I retract that. That is not it. Same era, but that's the guy from Deliverance. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. They remind me. They are often cited together, so I sometimes get them confused. Yeah,
gotcha.
He's awesome.
Okay. Good. He was also in Vengeance Rising and participated in Betrayal. In 2012, he participated as the bassist with a band called Biogenesis.
Right.
Michael Cutting from Holy Soldier. Multifaceted guitarist, vocalist, songwriter, producer, and mix engineer.
Ooh.
So, Holy Soldier. Good stuff. Larry Farkas.
Might I just say that the last name Farkas is kind of awesome?
You can say that.
Okay, I just think it's fun.
Let me see. Farkas was in the beginnings of Deliverance, 85 to 97. He also joined a Vengeance Rising in 88. Let's see. He played guitar for the album Master's Command of Sacred Warrior. He joined Die Happy in 92 and 93. He joined the band Circle of Silence. His last band was Once Deaf.
He's one of those people who, when you see a resume like that, you almost wonder if he was hard to get along with.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because it seems like he came in and out of a lot of bands.
Yeah. Let's see here. Rick Renstrom is the guitar world's newest hope for a guitar hero, taking from the old and adding to the new. All language of guitar is spoken.
Now, and most of you guys can't see his picture, but it's pretty incredible that you wouldn't look at this guy and think he's a really good guitarist, because he's got
looks like 3 fingers on each hand.
Yeah, and his arms one arm is shorter than the other. I mean, he's got.
If you think about it, though, normal. That's like
in a way it could work pretty well.
That's perfect the guitar height for his one arm.
Right.
Like, it's the perfect height to hit the frets without having to really twist your arm around.
This is true. So that might be a good thing, but I don't know. I just wouldn't see that guy walking down the street and go, I bet that guy can play guitar really, really good.
Totally. Rick decided to start playing guitar by the time he was 16. He was attending the University of Akron, majoring in music, playing with his band Shattered Innocence 3 to 4 nights a week, and still in high school. He studied classical, jazz theory, composition, overall musicianship. His current endeavor include guitar duties for Rob Rock's Rage of Creation band and a full-length solo album. He won Best Lead Guitarist at the 1996 CFMA Awards. 1998 won the Mars Guitar Challenge, and in 2001 received Best Metal Guitarist at the Orlando Metal Awards.
Nice.
So, very accredited for having what most would consider a severe disability.
Right.
Let's see. Sean Clancy from New Zealand, so we have no idea who he is.
Yeah.
Let's
honesty,
see. Yeah. Jake Jones is number 50, so we're halfway through the list right now. In high school, I found myself skipping out on normal teen stuff to sit on the end of my bed learning Creed songs.
You hear that? Creed haters? Creed songs.
Let's see here. It doesn't really.
But it's weird though. It's hard to see what bands he's actually played in.
Yeah, that hasn't seen a whole lot. Suburb of Austin influence. While Jake picked up guitar at age 6, it wasn't until 13 he found himself truly diving in and finding his footing as a guitarist. But I don't really see Stevie Ray Vaughan as an influence. That's good. Musical teeth on Soulful Rhythms, Wrenching Blues, Lone Star State. Yeah, it doesn't really say.
Does he have
what
a
he
band?
Played in. Jake Jones, everybody. Jake Jones.
Evidently, he's awesome.
He's the most awesomest guitar player I've never heard of.
Right.
Let's see. 49, Brad Noah. Number 48, Van Allen Wood. Sound familiar at all?
Dan Allen Wood? No, but Brad Noah is from Disciple, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Oh, he was from Theocracy.
Okay. There you go.
Van Allen Wood is. So
Val Allen Wood. Val. Yes.
Val Allen Wood.
Val Allen Wood. Yes. And he is very talented. Theocracy is a very good band.
Oh, absolutely.
John Schneck. Reliant K.
That's another thing that I find funny. I'm sure he's a great guitarist, but it's funny to think of somebody from a pop punk band beating out somebody from Theocracy.
Yeah, he was also a touring guitarist with Audio Adrenaline.
Right.
So he's done that. Justin Cox has been playing guitar for 19 years. He's a founding member and lead guitarist of the band Fireflight.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Now, here's one I appreciate. Number 45, Micah Ortega.
From Fifth.
Yep, Five Iron Frenzy. Got to meet that guy. Super great guy. Right. Number 44, Ben Cassica from Skillet.
Okay.
Let me see. Tom Milnes. Randy Stonehill. Yeah. Randy Stonehill.
Yeah.
Okay. Bruce Swift. Aaron Guerra. Jody Davis.
Tourniquet. That's a good one. Aaron Guerra.
Jody Davis. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, from the Newsboys.
Yep, Newsboys.
Also an interesting choice, but okay.
John Mahan. Greg Bishop, guitarist from Sinner.
Right.
Mike Rowe, not the guy from Dirty Jobs.
No. No, but from the 77s. That one I appreciate.
77s,
He's a very good kind of.
Do you think he deserves to be 36?
I don't know. It's so hard to compare because I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that the person who made this list knows more about music than I do because it's just so hard to compare some of these different styles because I would think of Mike Rowe as being kind of a rock and roll / maybe blues influenced guitarist, and he does a really good job. Yeah. But then you've got all these, very technical metal thrash guitarists who play stuff very correctly but very fast, and to me that's just incredible. But then you also have like the guy from the Newsboys and Reliant K that I'm like, I don't often see the stuff that is really technically impressive. Not that they aren't doing what they're doing well. It's just a style of music that doesn't like really push that idea forward. So
yeah. Okay. Let's see. Paul Jackson from Bloodgood.
Okay.
Dennis Cameron. George Ochoa. Barry Blair. Stu Heiss. Let's see, from Res Band. Gordon
It's also
Kennedy.
interesting that Barry Blair is in there that high, too, because, he was the original guitarist for Audio Adrenaline. Yes. I never thought... I guess Bloom showed off a pretty good set of guitar skills. But
that is true. That is true. Let me see. Gordon Kennedy. Oz Fox from Stryper.
Nice.
Number 29. Brian Bunn. Anthony Armstrong. From Red.
Also kind of an interesting choice to be that high, but, okay.
Yeah. 26 is Mark David Lee from Third Day.
Okay.
Drew Shirley, which is from Switchfoot.
Absolutely.
So he made the list, but John Foreman didn't.
Right.
That, I think, is kind of funny. All right, so he starts us off at number 25. Let's go finish this list up. Ulf Christensen of Sweden's Jerusalem. Troy Thompson from Bride.
I'm going to interject something real quick about Troy Thompson from Bride.
Okay.
I think it's funny because in a lot of interviews, people would say, "Oh, you're so good. You're such a good guitarist. You must practice all the time." And he goes, "No, I am the best guitarist I will ever be because I only write and then I perform what I've written. I don't really sit around and practice at all to try to get technically better. I am as good as I will ever be." So I hope that that's good enough. But yeah, I don't sit around and play all the time just for kicks to just try to enhance my craft. I'm just going, I don't know if that's cool that he's being that honest about it or if that's pompous because he's saying, yes, I am good, but I'm not,
Right.
This is just what it is.
That's
I don't
funny.
know. It was an interesting interview.
Well, and it says here, an important fact, Troy is really into computers and has completed exams necessary to be a Microsoft certified systems engineer.
Interesting.
So, that's funny. Gary Lanier from Tourniquet.
Yeah, and that's probably from the most technical, fast version of Tourniquet, too.
Okay. All right. So he's number 22. Number 21 is Justin Forshaw. Let's see.
From We As Human.
We As Human. Oh, there you go. That's a good call right there. Yeah. Ty Tabor, King's X.
Yeah.
Joshua Parahia. Let me see. Apparently, his band is really popular in Japan.
And he was declared the world's fastest guitarist in metal press.
Yeah.
At one point, so that's kind of cool.
Well, it's funny because it says his name and then it says the band, but it doesn't say what band it is.
Maybe. Oh,
it just says the band's exposure in Japan, but it doesn't say what band.
This is true.
Yes.
Maybe they just didn't want to give props to the band. I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea. Brian Belew, Belew. Mm-hmm. Let me see. The Sound of Barnabas.
Yeah.
Dana Key, number 17.
Also an interesting choice. Maybe it's just because I've been listening. I recently picked up Two Extremes by DeGarmo and Key. I've been listening to it in my car, and it's so funny for me to listen to it and think this was considered hard rock back in the day. Because it's the guitars are so sparse and, it's the lyrics aren't bad, but they're kind of repetition. Some very simple. And I'm just going, wow, they didn't have to do a whole lot back then to be really hard rocking. And you think about all like the promo pictures of all the crazy looks that they had, and you're going, oh man, they're going to be really heavy. And then you pop it in, and the song "Too Extreme" sounds like you could sing it around a campfire. It's kind of amusing to me.
Yeah,
but,
gotcha. Kirk says that guy Joshua is the name of the band. So.
Oh, okay.
That guy they didn't say.
So it's just confusing because his name is Joshua, and he was in the band Joshua.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Number 16 is Michael Sweet. We all know him as the lead singer from Stryper, as well as his major solo side projects. David Zafiro from the Crystal City Rockers and Topaz.
And Bloodgood.
Yeah, and Bloodgood. Glenn Kaiser.
Good stuff.
Res Band for 25 years plus. Bob Hartman, we know from Petra.
Right.
Lanny Cordola.
Oh, he was awesome. He was one of those few guitarists who could get away with actually putting out an instrumental album and it being good.
Oh, okay. Nice. Good deal. Number 11, Jeff Sheets. No?
Ooh. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what he's from.
Yeah, they've got these really long explanations, but...
Evidently, he's played shows with ZZ Top, Cheap Trick, Poison, Cinderella, Joan Jett, 36 Special, ELO, Eric Johnson, Scorpions.
It's
Steve
ELO, not ELO.
A ton of other. Yeah.
ELO.
Yeah. Oh, he also evidently used to be in. Oh, he's mixed stuff for like Galactic Cowboys and whatnot. But
gotcha.
It's hard to find out what his main band was.
Yeah.
I wish they had that like in bold.
Yeah.
That would be so much more.
It would be nice, wouldn't it? Number 10, The Edge from U2. Number 9, Carl Johan Grimark.
What's he from? Savior Machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Narnia, Savior Machine, and Rob Rock.
Okay. I get it.
And most recently, a band called Beautiful Sin, which is a bit misleading of a name.
Yeah.
Ken Tamplin.
There you go.
He's been in groups like Joshua, Shout, and Magdalene.
Yeah, very good.
Okay.
And he is really good. And he runs like a vocal coaching company now, and he's trained a bunch of people who've gone on to do some pretty big things, especially like in vocal competitions.
Oh, is that right?
He's very highly regarded for vocal stuff.
Cool deal. Dan Huff is number 7, was the original guitarist for White Heart. And later on, he was in the melodic hard rock band Giant.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, he's played guitar on albums from Michael Jackson, Scritti Politti, White Snake, Roger Hodgson, Stephen Curtis Chapman, Doro Pesch, George Benson, Whitney Houston's debut album, Barbra Streisand, Kenny Rogers, and more.
Nice.
So he's done a lot of different stuff. Lincoln Brewster is on here. It's number 6.
I need to listen to more of his stuff because I always think of the stuff that I've just kind of randomly heard, like on K-Love or Air One or something. And even it tends to have some good guitar parts, but I think his stuff is maybe a little bit heavier than I thought it was. I don't think it's like, Broken FM or Christian Rock 20 stuff, but I think it's got a nice enough edge to where I think I could enjoy it. I need to check his stuff out more often.
Cool. Kirk says Lincoln Brewster... he saw him recently, and he is the real deal. I wish he'd let loose on an album. So, Tom Labonte says that dude can shred.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. Number 5, Chris Impellitteri, lead guitarist and founder of the band Impellitteri. Okay, I have no idea who that is.
He was named one of the fastest guitarists of all time, and his picture is hilarious.
So, Kerry Livgren.
From Kansas.
Yep. Good stuff. So, number 3, Tony Palacios.
Yes.
The guitarist for Guardian.
Yes.
And
I would put him in the top 3, I think. He's just really good.
Yeah, okay. I published his first guitar instrumental solo album called Epic Tales of Woe on Cadence Records, and he's currently working as a sound mixer, engineer, and producer of various Christian artists. So that's awesome. Number 2 is Rex Carroll from White Cross. Very talented guitarist.
And his hair is terrible.
Yes. It's like a white man's fro,
but long.
But long. Yeah, definitely. And number 1 is Phil Keaggy. I don't know if I would consider Phil Keaggy rock guitar, though.
But, yeah, I know what you mean. But at the same time, like, you look at the stuff that he can do, and it's kind of hard not to. I mean, there's been multiple interviews throughout the years with different people, especially back when people appreciated talent, I guess, way back in the day. And there would be these people who would be named like best guitarist in the world by like Guitar Magazine or something. And then the interview, they'd say, how does it feel to be the best guitarist in the world? He'd go, I don't know. Ask Phil Keaggy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So there's this. So I don't want to sound like I'm dogging on Phil Keaggy at all, because I love Phil Keaggy. I think he's extremely talented, and I appreciate his skills. It just, I don't consider him a rock guitarist. So that's the only issue I have with him being at number 1, is that it's supposed to be a rock list, and I don't see him fitting that.
But at the same time, he used to be in a rock band in the 70s before he did solo stuff.
Yeah.
And it was considered rock for the time. So I can see where they get it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, he's the stuff that he's done recently, not so much. But then, back in the day, he was definitely a rock guitarist. So I think he's kind of grandfathered in for that.
Okay. Well, if you want to read the entire list for yourself, you can go to classicchristianrockzone.blogspot.com and check it out. You can read all the little pieces of info that we did not read. Some of them are exceedingly long. Like Phil Keaggy's is crazy long.
Right.
Crazy long.
Yes.
Let me see. So lots of stuff.
It's like a serial killer manifesto. I mean, it's just way wicked long.
Yeah. Go through and read the comments too, because some of them are like, Phil Keaggy, but no Scott Dante. Crazy. No Rick Derringer. Kenny Greenberg. Dave Perkins. The Edge. This must be a joke. That's what somebody says. Oh, man, that's funny. So, so you can check that out. Absolutely. Let's see. Kirk sent us another The Other Stuff.
Okay, nice.
So let's check that out.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
I don't see how that's a party.
If you play guitar and don't live under a rock, you've probably heard of Phil Keaggy. Having been a fan of his music for years, I was intrigued to see an album called Interdimensional Traveler by the Phil Keaggy Trio, consisting of Keaggy on guitar, Jack Gehring on keys, and John Safara on drums. Then to my surprise, these guys did something cool. They released 2 more albums over the next couple of years. Cosmic Rumpus by the Jack Gehring Trio, and Infinity Unleashed by the John Safara Trio. While stylistically similar, these instrumental jazz fusion albums each feature songs that highlight that member's talents and are even mixed to bring their instruments more to the foreground. As expected, the musicianship is top-notch and the talents just explode out of the speakers. While these albums have a jazz feel, the main fusion is with rock. These recordings may not be your go-to when driving to work or be your jam for the weekend, but this is great music, and it's great to relax to, play in the background at a dinner, or even just with friends hanging around the house. And they sound great through good quality headphones. Available at the major digital retailers, Interdimensional Traveler, Cosmic Rumpus, and Infinity Unleashed could make a great addition to any music collection. For the Rockin' the Hard Place podcast, this is Captain Kirk with The Other Stuff.
Oh, so there you go. Thank you, Captain Kirk. Appreciate that very, very much. His voiceover and production quality gets better each week, so it's nice to listen to him grow.
Nice. Yeah.
I was going to say,
try unmute my mic.
Try unmuting your microphone there, Paul. Would help us out a lot. All right, so we're heading towards the end, but Paul, I know you've got some other stuff you wanted to share with us, some Noise Trade picks, and something. There was something special that you had too, I think.
Yeah, I've got a quizzy quiz.
Yeah, that's right, the quiz. So you can either do Noise Trade now or quiz now. I'll let you decide.
Well, let's go ahead and do the quiz now, so it'll break up the music clips for a little bit. I have, of course, as per usual, went and tried to find some reviews on iTunes of a specific, and I'm going to read these reviews to give you a multiple choice on which album this is talking about. Now, I did choose the options and the reviews in such a way that I think you could be able to figure it out. It's not going to be a total blind guess.
Okay.
So I'm trying to be kind of nice and be more sporting about it. So,
are there any angelic voice comments and such?
No, nothing quite like that. Nothing
okay.
quite like that. I do have 5 stars and a couple that are significantly lower as well. But I don't think I'll even have.
Okay, and right now your internet is crapping out in a major way, and you keep dropping like every other word.
I'm gonna. Well, I don't like that. You know why I bet that is?
Is your wife streaming something?
I think she is. That's unfortunate. Or wait a minute.
That's unfortunate.
Yes. Okay, so
yes.
Here's the thing. We'll try and get through this as best we can. Is it doing somewhat okay now?
Yeah, it's okay right this second.
Okay. Well, I am going to, for at least this portion of it, I'm going to come out of the stream just so that will maybe loosen up some bandwidth for me. So if you don't see me in the stream and you're watching the stream, that's why. But I'll come back in a bit. Okay, so here's the title of this review. Want great rock? Preview it, fall out, then buy it. 5 stars. Here's the review. I never really paid much attention to this band just because. But this, gosh, this is what I've been looking for. Clean, sporadic screaming and pounding drums. As soon as I get the money, I'm buying it. Love you, band. Okay, here's another 5 stars. It's called Seriously. One of the best things to happen in the Christian music industry. Seriously. Yeah, anyway, I love that. Okay, this one is just because I thought it was funny that somebody bothered putting this in a review. The review is called What's with the Popping? 2 stars. Why do all these previews have popping like it was recorded from vinyl? I was going to buy it, but no thanks.
Okay.
I was like, that doesn't really help you at all, but I just thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. This one's called Way Too Soft. Only 1 star. What happened? It's what's going on? Going mainstream? I miss their heavy sound. Quit selling out. So, yeah. That one should help a little bit. All right. This one also might help, but maybe not. This one's called Stealing Ideas. Just 1 star. Decent album. However, the title was stolen from a Green Day song just to show how uncreative this band is.
What?
Yeah, which I think is kind of funny because it's like if you look even fairly hard, you're not going to find any album that isn't the name of a song title by some band that somebody's heard of.
Right.
So I thought that was funny. Okay, here's the album that might help you. The album review that might help you. Best album of 2010. 5 stars. This album is amazing, and by far, it's the best album of 2010. One of this band's best albums. There isn't one song that isn't awesome. So, there are a few little clues in there. So, the question is this Skillets Awake? Is this Disciples, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades? Or is this 1,000-Foot Crutches, Welcome to the Masquerade?
Ooh, man.
And if you need me to reread any specific reviews, I will do that if you so desire.
Huh.
We really need to pull the Jeopardy theme. I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah. give me a time frame. Boy, it could really be any of those, but
actually it could, but that's okay.
See, if you had you thrown Red in there, I would have said Red in a heartbeat.
Right, I thought about it. Or is it Red?
Yeah. You're so evil. So evil.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, I am going to say Disciple, but it's probably Skillet.
No, you're right. It's Disciple.
Woo!
Yeah.
Nice.
Out of those 3 albums, that's the only one that actually came out in 2010. The others came out in 2000.
Gotcha. All right. Well, okay. I'll take it. I'll take the win. And you locked up on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Well.
What?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
What?
Uh-huh. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and try and get through your noise trade stuff?
All right. Well, I got a ton of them, but I think that ultimately, if we try to get through them all, it's just going to make for a way too long show, and we're knocking on the door of that already. So I'm going to throw you a couple.
All right.
One is from a new band that I never heard of, and they're doing a Kickstarter right now. It's really just kind of one person, but instead of just going by his name, he's got the band name Service Unicorn. And he's put up an EP on Noise Trade that you can download for free, or you can donate. And if you donate, if I'm recalling correctly, for every $2 that gets donated, they will donate that $2 to helping buy backpacks for people who are homeless over the Christmas season. So I thought that was really cool.
Cool.
But anyway, this song is Christendom Chrysanthemum. And if you're a fan of a band like Joy Electric, you should be all over this. So see what you think about. So very dreamy synth pop, kind of otherworldly sounding. But anyway, I thought it was at the very least intriguing. So
yeah, totally.
Once again, that is the band Service Unicorn. Anyway,
awesome.
So you can check that out. And then I had a lot of others, but the other one I'm going to play for you is a very stripped down, basic Christmas song off the new Sleeping at Last Christmas album that you can grab off a Noise Trade as well. It's got a bunch of tracks on it. They all have a fairly similar feel to this. They got lots of space, very minimal, and this one I think showcases that minimalism very well. But this is their version of I'll Be Home for Christmas. So see what you think about this.
Where the love light gleams, I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dream.
Is that a ukulele?
I think so. I think almost the entire record is just their lead singer and a ukulele.
Wow, that sounded really cool.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not gonna break into the Christian Rock 20 anytime soon in the holiday stuff. Maybe the Christmas special, but it's very laid back, very minimal, but it all has a very purposeful feel to it. Like It doesn't feel like they just couldn't afford to do anything else. It feels well done for being so small,
right,
in scope. So yeah, good stuff.
No, very cool, very cool. Good deal, good deal. All right, well, you can save some for next week, so that'll be good. Yes, you won't have to work so hard for next week.
That's right. And next week we'll also, because I'd originally intended to do that this week as well, but since we're running so low on time, next week we can also talk about the new Toby Mac track that just got dropped and a little bit of the stuff from the new Dustin Kinsrew Christmas project going under the pseudonym The Modern Post. So we can check that out next week as well.
Good deal. Alrighty, well, I guess that's going to do it for us. Thank you for hanging out and checking out the show. We know it's a little long, and we apologize for that. Well, we don't really, but it's quite all right. No matter what, it's all good. So let's just dispense with the pleasantries. You can check us out online at rockinahardplacepodcast.com. It has all the links, everything you need as far as where to access any aspect of the show. You can check it all out there. Go to tweakedaudio.com, get your headphones. Hard Place, all one word, get you 33% off, and all of that good stuff. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. My name is Chris Cooner.
And I'm Paul Gibson.
And we'll catch you next time on the Rockin' a Hard Place podcast. See ya!